Remember you said you had problems with some of it.
Yeah, I got stuck and gave up. It's like, I mean, I imagine it's the kind of thing like Fifi and Blackbird would be able to show you in their sleep.
Yeah.
Let's stream with this thing.
Stream Elements said, a dog door is now live. Streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I prompted CoPilot, VR, MSFS.
Okay. I think I make stress, so I am.
Did you ever get the VR working in Flight Sim?
In Flight Sim 24?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can fly. I just don't have it on the computer. But I have it. I have it on Xbox. I have the 20. I have 24 on both. I just haven't re-downloaded it since I redid my computer. So
Working around Apollo Bay.
why you want somebody to fly with you on Flight Sim?
Nah, it's all good. I mean, maybe in the future. It'd be great if we could, like, co-pilot the DC-3 or something.
I think how that works. Yeah, that would be cool. We could do the flight of Premiere.
I could show you my Aussie strips.
Done that with flights. Yeah. Well, the flight of Premiere. That's been done by
I can barely hear you over the game sound. Let me turn you up and it down.
So it was actually flown by a Ju-52, the German Junkers 3-engine plane.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was done in 37. It's one of like the challenge that you can buy on Flight Sim 2020. But if you literally start flying and it's real time, you can take the actual Junker, you can take a DC-3, and then another plane. Of course, it's DC-3. And you start in Berlin, Germany, and you literally fly south to France, over down through Italy, and then through Greece, across into like Lebanon and Iran and Iraq, and then you fly across like the northwest part of the Himalayas, and you have to fly through those mountains to get across into like western China. It's insane.
That sounds insane.
I flew that whole thing. And the coolest thing was once I got into the mountains, it was, I mean, you had to be on your game because those mountains are 30,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Well, the DC-3 only wants to fly at like 26 max, 27,000. So I was literally in the valleys, flying as best I could, and those mountains were still higher than the plane. And I was flying through the valley. Holy shit.
That is awesome.
Talk about having just the right amount of trim and the autopilot set just right and everything.
There's a guy I used to fly with, his dad was a bush pilot, DC-3s out of Alaska. And so he sat co-pilot with him when he was a little kid. But he knew them back and front. We used to do mock flights around Alaska, like tiny little strips in the DC-3, and really kind of, bad weather, so you had to skim the rivers, VFR, so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Probably shouldn't just jump in the DC-3 and expect I can land it on short strips without any practice, but here goes nothing.
I trust about the DC3, but raging, just being all over the place on takeoff.
Cool. How many hours did you put into those flights?
With the DC3?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was like, it took me a couple weeks to fly that. They would fly. I was in the DC3 and they actually flew the younger, so they would actually fly further. But they would, any stop that they would actually stop at, I would land, but I would also land in an airport, like in between when they would land, just for breaks, obviously. But yeah, I remember it took me like 2 weeks. Cool, just seeing the land change, you know. Especially like once you get out of like Germany and start flying, I mean, then all of a sudden it turns into Greece. And you're flying over all those the islands there. Helagos, Greek Helagos, whatever. Yeah, and then knowing that those enormous mountains are coming up was pretty cool. But it was just like the challenge of just getting it set, finding because there's no looking at a map. It's like you have to find it, you know, by the correct, you know, altitude and
Yeah, gotcha.
you know, all that, looking for the landmarks. I mean, there was a map that you could open up, but it wouldn't show where you were. You know, kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to
like,
work out direction and distance.
It would tell you, like in the beginning of the mission, like say you land at an airport, it'll give a little story about like what they did, because it's like a true thing that these guys did. It'll kind of say what they did, and then when you're ready to jump in, it'll tell you, you know, take off at this heading, and then it has the timer for like 10 minutes, and after that, we'll be heading for an hour, and until you reach, cool thing about the day we have the radio navigation.
Yeah. That's sweet.
The one that had three numbers. And one inside. Sounded like a radio. One a week. And you could find those on the map too. And sometimes it would say, you know, use this VOR, you know, but you can't pick it up until you get like within 50 miles of it. I'd be like, well, screw that. I just look up the airport that the VOR is at, and I would look up the radio transmission, whatever it was.
Sure.
Yeah, those went a lot further. gotten the Cold War Germany map yet?
No, I bought the Iraq one and I've flown it like 3 times. Yeah, I mean it looks cool, but I don't know what I'm doing it. What's your take on it?
I thought it looked awesome. I actually see you in the Temple Hawk.
Oh, I saw that screenshot. That did look cool.
Yeah, I mean it looked cooler doing it, but yeah, like flying through Germany, and the detail is looking awesome. Like it's all doing correct, like in the car. All the planes, all the assets are.
Need to spend some more time with ordnance in the F-18.
Yeah. Which ones,
Had
like
a-
bombs or missiles?
Wow, all of it really. I just, yeah.
I watched a video on game one and how to, kind of do a good setup if you're going against somebody, and how to get the lock. And now I know why we weren't getting locked. So you know how it would start with like just like a diamond with the little stick sticking out showing which direction it was going, and you flew over it and it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Try to hit the press and couldn't get a lock. It's because that is not the plane's radar. That is the info that the RWR is getting, either from itself or the AWACS. So it takes time, and you won't get a radar lock if it's over 40 miles. So you could have your SA set to 80 miles, so you can see them out there, your attack radar for 80 miles. So you can see them. They're red, they're on the radar, but you will not be able to lock them. So you literally have to sit there and wait and kind of just watch them and steer towards them. And once they pass that 40-mile line, then they turn yellow. They'll give you different information. It'll change from like a diamond to like a partial square, and a diamond is almost like a house. That's saying that the AWACS confirmed it, and then it'll turn red and it'll give you a star, and that's when you can like lock it up. You can lock it up when it's yellow too, but that means that your plane says it's a bandit, the AWACS says it's a bandit, and that's when it turns fully red. You can lock it.
Good to know.
Yeah, and then it showed
otherwise you're kind of clicking the thing and think, why doesn't it work? Sometimes it works. I don't understand.
and there's a way you can set up your attack radar too. That was screwing us over too, so you would lose the locks. Because if you have it set to a special thing in like one of the data spots, where you have to click data on the attack radar and change number from 4 to 16. Because if you are sweeping the whole screen, the 4 means that if the lock doesn't stay, after 4 seconds it'll disappear. But if you set it to 16, it'll stay for 16 seconds before it disappears. So it gives you a lot better chance of being able to keep that lock if it decides it wants to. Like if you're moving or something, you know. So there's that, and the track wall scanning, turning RWS to TWS, that helps. A whole little setup you do before you even take off, and then once you do find a plane, kind of you just wait until you're able to lock it, and then once you do lock it, then you start cranking. So you take the lock all the way to the edge until you're within range, like 20 miles or less, and then once you're within 20 miles, then you turn back in until it says shoot. You know, you try to get the little dot and the circle thing, and then once it says shoot, you shoot, but you just keep turning, you keep going in that same direction, like you're doing a big circle, just in case they fire at you too.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things.
Should host some training. Sound like you're the boss now. You know the shit.
I don't know the shit, I just watched the video, and I tried it.
That's enough.
I mean, see, the thing with the video was this guy was like, this is all you gotta do. He's like, now you can give you somebody who shoots at me, I'll set up, I'll put an F-14 against me. And F-14s is better at shooting than an F-18. Air to air. And he set it up. But what he doesn't say is, okay, I can do this whole cranking thing, which is awesome. But he was only doing it against one plane. So what do you do if you have two planes? You know what I mean? So I'm able to get the first plane just fine. But then his wingman, after I shoot his plane down, his wingman is on my ass shooting a missile at me. You know? So I think I got hit like twice from the wingman. And I finally had to we got into gun mode. I was flying so crazy, and I finally was able to get him to fly out in front of me. I was able to shoot a Phoenix at him. So I only had one Phoenix left, and I was able to get him with it.
Where did you end up saving your the tutorial stuff? Was it in the save games folder in the end? The FA10, the thing you're doing now?
Yep. Well, I'm done with that. I got out of it. Yeah.
Check out the
I think all I had to do, I had to extract it. That's what I did. Because I hadn't extracted it. I just had to extract it. That's all.
In VR, the DC3 looks amazing. That you can actually walk around it.
Yeah.
Screaming if you want to have a look.
I'm gonna have to go get my phone. I do not have Twitch on my computer.
Ah, no.
Well, I need to get up anyway. Been on it for a while. When I heard your voice, I was like, oh shit, dog's on. And I was literally 5 minutes away from getting off.
Yeah, I've been at Crook actually, not been up for much this last week.
You've been doing a bunch of
Flight sim? Yeah.
What have you been doing on there? Just learning, or
Just trying to get the settings dialed in and the controllers dialed in, which I've nearly done.
what do you fly with on flight sim?
Well, I'm in the DC3 right now.
Is that all you've been flying?
No, the Beaver and the Skyhawk. I I was doing the career until there was a bug and it crashed the aircraft, and it's like the same thing that happened to you.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it says, oh, you have to now pay $400,000. So go work for literally 200 hours to earn, $5,000 a trip.
Yeah. It's disheartening.
Yeah. I think that's why most people quit. Because they spend all that freaking time getting those licenses and those tests like we did, just to have one screw up, like, totally kill it.
I mean, I did take out insurance, which means you can repair, but I've still got an aircraft, but I've got no money, so I can't afford to move it to the next location to earn anything. So I have to, do, as you say, do the fucking employee mode for chump change.
Yeah. When you were making like 40,000 a flight, now you're making it for the same flight.
Totally.
Yeah, 3 to 4. Because I was getting to the point where I was doing the medium cargo transport.
Oh yeah.
So where you was really starting to make some decent money, and that's when my shit crashed.
Do one more landing and pull my bay.
Now, is this 2020 or 24?
24. Yeah, I've actually got one of these sliders set to the trim, and it's so we're playing with it before, micro adjustments. It's just a joy.
Oh, I'm trying to see that.
What's that?
I said I'm trying to see your little camera there.
Yeah, you'll see the video there, and my hand moving at the same time.
Yeah. Do you have the honeycomb?
Yeah.
I have the Bravo. I don't have the yoke, but I have the Bravo throttle quadrant.
I was looking at one of those on Marketplace, actually. I read they're very good, apart from the trim wheel, which can be a bit shit.
I actually didn't mind it too much.
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, $300 second hand, or I could pick up this thing for a hunch. So I went for
The cool thing
out.
about the Bravo is that you can go on Etsy, and they have because you can swap the handles for the throttle. So I have a set of DC3 throttle.
I'm really that.
But yeah, and it looks just like what it does right there in your VR. And you can bind it so you have the throttle on or the propellers on the way left, because usually that's the throttle. You have the throttle in the middle. Mixture. Got this collar flap set to trail. Over there.
I love this little strip. Call this the Shipwreck Coast. It's wild seas between the southern coast of Victoria and Tasmania.
Yeah.
Next door neighbour has a property on those hills just over there. Done this eco resort. We've got these prefab houses made in China, and it's all off grid, and it makes a fucking bullshit.
You know how to use the autopilot and that thing?
Yeah.
No? took me a while to figure it out.
I'm on the how do you land this thing phase.
Yeah, if you look over your right shoulder, you see the pumps or whatever, like in the hallway. You have to turn. Yeah, you just look at it. Your video's delayed, so it's that blue one. You have to pull that out, pull it to the front, and then push it in, and then that will allow you to push the button, which is on that wheel in the middle of the console, to turn on the gyro.
That's cool. I like how chunky everything is in the DC3.
Yeah, I mean it's not a perfect autopilot, but it'll level a plane, and then you're able to do pitch up and down, and then you got to play with it. But to turn left and right, you just play with those knobs that are by the gyro on the top. That's what I was using when I was like going through the mountains, trying to get it just right using that autopilot. So that was a quick little trip.
It's like a postage stamp this runway.
Yeah, it's skinny. Landed it good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
It's better than me. I usually end up like, for whatever reason, would spin out. Have you spinned out on takeoffs yet?
Actually, it wants to like pull hard the moment it gets like any air pressure across the wing. It's just like you have to like counter rudder like freaking crazy.
Oh yeah. Like you're dancing on the runway. At least I was. I didn't know what the heck I was doing wrong. But every once in a while, I would have it like perfectly set down the runway, and I didn't have to touch like the wheel or anything, and it would perfectly just take off and just lift up. You couldn't even tell you were taking off. It was just so nice. But that was like maybe 5% of the time. The rest of the time, it's like, fuck, I'm going right, I'm going left, I'm going right.
From the outside, check this out. I think I'm rolling actually. Let me put the parking brake on.
That's the one thing I couldn't do is walk through it. I always wanted to turn around and walk back. I didn't know how to do it. I was always stuck in the chair. I think it's an Xbox thing, maybe.
So,
it would be cool if they had like a fully spec'd out like Berlin airlift. I think that would be like the ultimate DC3 challenge, like C-47 challenge. Those things were taken off like every 30 seconds or a minute.
yeah, freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Look, Shadow.
If you weren't on your game, yeah, that's cool. If you weren't on your game, I mean, yeah, all those other planes going in and landing and going out. Yeah. What kind of throttle you get there? I can't. Like I said, I'm on my phone. I can't zoom in.
It's I mean, I've got the Warthog, and then I've just got the cheap the Thrustmaster Warthog is like the main throttle quadrant, and then I got like a 3-stick Logitech quadrant.
Okay.
So it's cheap and nasty, but it works alright. Like, you know, I'm loving the trim rotation. Like that's the main thing I wanted, because the pot in mine is broken. So the little, I've got like a slider, so, and I've messed with it for like a week, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get something else. So
yeah, when you go to an actual trim wheel, it's actually nice.
yeah, you know, I'm tempted by the Bravo. I gave the guy like a, you know, lowball offer. He hasn't responded. So.
For a Bravo?
Yeah.
I know Moza
Good.
just came out with their force feedback yoke, but I have a CLS, the flights, what is it? Flight Sim CLS 60 yoke, the force feedback yoke. I had that on my rig before my Moza base because I was flying that first, and then once it screwed with me, the game screwed with me so bad. That's when I said, "Screw it." Freaking deleted it. There were so many problems. That's when I came on to DCS and started getting all that set up.
Gotcha. Why am I stuck on this screen now? I got two options. Quit. What the fuck is going on?
Quit and can't continue.
Release notes and quit. I'll do that. What is going on?
So
I
I got on earlier, and your server, I don't know why, but when it popped up available,